Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. Today, we have the always amazing Heather Watson joining us. Heather, how are you?
I'm awesome, Tracy. How are you today?
Good. I'm so excited to have you back on the show. Also, I was thinking about it. It seems like just yesterday you were on here talking about the same thing we're going to talk about right away. For those of you guys tuning in, you'll recognize Heather. She's Executive Director for Farm Management Canada. And we are going to be chatting about their annual conference, AgExcellence. And that's why I said it feels like just yesterday. And here we are a year later. So
Yep.
exciting and a bit flabbergasted by how fast time goes. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it's one of those things where time flies when you're having fun, and we're having a lot of fun and super excited about this year. So really glad to be here. Really appreciate the opportunity.
I'm always thrilled when you come on the show. So why don't you tell our audience quickly about who you are and what Farm Management Canada does, and then we'll dive into the event.
Yeah, for sure. So as you mentioned, Tracy, I'm Heather Watson, Executive Director at Farm Management Canada. So we're a national nonprofit organization trying to promote the increased awareness, appreciation, and adoption of farm business management practices through research and education. So trying to help farmers understand the world as it evolves around them and how they can respond in a meaningful, proactive way towards sustainable growth and prosperity. And I've had the pleasure of leading the organization for going on 14 years now. So yeah, really, really, really pleased with what we're doing and what's to come.
Wonderful. So as we record this and as it airs, it's going to be October. The event is in November. Would you like to tell our audience more about the theme, the location, all the details, and then we'll move on to speakers and all the good stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is a conference that happens every year in a different part of Canada. We try to spread the love, and we know not everyone is comfortable or able to travel, so we try and host it in a different province every year. So last year we were in Alberta, as you know, and this year we're in Ontario. So this year's conference will take place November 21st to 23rd in Guelph, Ontario at the Delta Hotel. So yeah, farm management enthusiasts from across Canada or international are welcome as well. I know you have an international audience. Everyone is welcome to come. Anyone who, is keen to join us at kind of the only national gathering place for thought leaders and practitioners dedicated to farm management excellence.
Excellent. So two quick questions, and I know we'll go into it a little bit more. The event during the COVID years, it had moved to online, and then I think you did in person, online. Have you guys moved fully in person, or what are the details there?
Yeah, we have. So, yeah, last year was our first return to in person, but we also had a virtual component with the conference because, we weren't sure how comfortable folks would be traveling again, etc. And we had some, lingering COVID issues going on. This year, we're fully in person. We didn't have a huge uptake on the virtual side of it last year. And really, in person is where the magic happens. It's where the networking takes place and the side conversations, and you can kind of tug on the shoulder of an advisor or a fellow farmer and have a nice conversation in person. So this year is all in person, but if you absolutely can't make it, we will be recording the sessions and making them available at a later date. So we don't want anyone to miss out, but we really do want you to try and come in person because, like I said, that's where the magic really happens, where the rubber meets the road.
I love it. I know I probably jumped the gun and you would have said that later, but I know as people were listening, they'd be like, oh, can I go online? Can I go in person? What's the detail? So I want to ask that, get that out of the way. And Heather, I agree with you so much. I have always been a huge travel person, huge conference person. And then, of course, COVID, that goes away. And I miss that. I miss the networking. I miss the travel. I just finally had a business personal trip this past week, and you're right, like the magic happens. It's great to see a speaker like you and I here on the computer. It's great,
Yeah.
right? Sorry, I'm going on a rant here because it's so important.
You go, Tracy. I'm used to it.
I'm going. Everybody that gets interviewed by me knows my rants. It is one thing watching a show like this, and it's amazing because we can reach everybody. But if you have the opportunity to attend in person, that's where the magic is, right? You're
Yeah.
in person. It's just something about it, other people around, the energy. So I totally agree and I totally second that. So ending the rant with, if you want to attend the conference, I highly recommend it. Okay, rant done. I would like to ask you to chat about the speakers, Heather. What do we have to look forward to?
Yeah, for sure. So we have, of course, the usual kind of welcoming remarks from the public officials. And so we've invited the federal minister and the Ontario Minister of Agriculture, and then we've confirmed Senator Rob Black is going to be there with welcoming remarks. So that's always nice to set the stage and know they're listening, and they believe that what we are doing and what we're all committed to is important. So that kind of kickstarts our day. And then we go right into our first keynote speaker. So our first keynote is Dave Mitchell, and he's from an organization called the Leadership Difference. And so he's going to talk about how to create a peak performance culture within your business. Of course, specific to farming and agriculture with that lens, but really how do you in the face of adversity, kind of keep on trucking, as they say. And we really like to concentrate on practical, takeaway, take homes, homework, tangible things that you can do. Well, you can probably start at the conference with some of your networking and building some of that, some of those relationships. But then, rather than go home and just return to the everyday, it's like, okay, and what are we going to do right now? And here's 1, 2, 3. Here's the steps we can start. So really pleased to have Dave join us. He'll be a first at AgEx, so that's really exciting. And then we'll move into no stranger to AgEx, no stranger to Farm Management Canada, Elaine Fraze, of course, farm family coach and known as Canada's Farm Whisperer. And I know she's been on your show a number of times. So Elaine's going to come with her wealth of knowledge, expertise, and guidance in terms of how do we improve conflict dynamics within the family farm, but also within the farm team as well. So how do we move through that? And how do we try to mitigate the risks around, perhaps not being able to communicate the way that we would like to? So we've kind of, hit it off running right from the start. And then we also are going into, so we have plenary speakers, but we also like to mix it up. We like to have kind of a diverse and interactive learning opportunity. And so we recently released our most recent, that's recently, research report, the Farm Women Study. And so that just came out about a week ago now. And so we're going to be presenting with and discussing with the Canadian Federation of Agriculture and the Quebec Farm Women's Association about the findings of the research, and then also some of the programming available to support farm women across Canada. So we do a deep dive into that. And this will be the first time that we're kind of publicly, openly talking about this groundbreaking and what we would consider very transformational research, where we're replacing, stereotypes and anecdotes with a foundation of facts. So we're super excited about that and that opportunity to showcase, shine light on a much needed spot in the ag sector that doesn't tend to get a lot of attention. And so on day one, we'll continue with Sean Haney, who you probably know and we all love, and special guests. And so we're doing actually a real Ag Live radio presentation from the conference. And it's really, really fun. It sounds weird to be like, why would I tune into a radio show at a conference? But it's super interactive, and there's lots of audience banter, things like that. And he'll be bringing on guests to be announced later, discussing today's hot topics in agriculture and how to stay at the leading edge of farm management excellence. Fantastic. And then towards the evening, we'll gather for our annual banquet, of course, and announce the winner of our 2023 Wilson Laurie Award. So that takes care of day one in terms of speakers. And then we launch into day 2, which kicks off with Eric Olson, and he's the national leader for MNP's farm consulting team. He'll walk us through gumption, I love that word, gumption as the root of robust growth for your farm, and how to turn risk into opportunity. So in the face of adversity, again, how can we put measures in place to find opportunity out of risk, out of uncertainty, as it were. And then we also have, sorry, if you want to interrupt me, Tracy, go ahead.
I'm just sitting here just giving my
I'm
2
just
cents.
rolling with it.
Yeah, just say nice, adding a little, you keep on going.
Yeah, you're like thumbs up over here. Well done. And then we have Sangeeta Lally from TELUS and Decisive Farming. And she's going to help us understand the transformative potential that embracing connectivity through digitization can have for our farms and creating the means for kind of sustainable growth in the green economy through that. So having access, not only having access to the data, but having a way to integrate and understand the data so that we can make good decisions out of that data. So that'll be really interesting from a technology, innovation, digital space kind of side of things. And then we have a few unconfirmed speakers, but we know that there's going to be sessions on supporting solid decision making on the farm with the experts from Cargill. BMO is going to walk us through opportunities presented by the carbon market, and the Canadian Canola Association, or the Canadian Canola Growers Association, excuse me, have put together an exciting lineup of industry experts, movers and shakers to talk about past, present, future of business risk management programming, which continues to be a hot topic, especially now as we're facing severe weather challenges, crisis with a capital C in terms of supply chains, input costs, access to inputs. It's never been more exciting, but it's also never been more perhaps uncertain and volatile to be in the ag space. So how can we create a suite of programs that's really going to help us come from a position of proaction while also having the support there when things don't go the way that we would like them to make sure that we're going to be okay and we're going to come out the other side still smiling. So those are kind of our plenary sessions, panel discussions. We also have some pretty cool activities set aside for students. So of course, we're right across the street from the University of Guelph. And so we've been working with the Food and Resource Economics group, as well as the Students' Council there, with the Ontario Ag College, et cetera. And so we're rehosting some learning sessions just for the students on, networking, on making the transition from the classroom to the farm, some of the resources available, and giving them an opportunity to kind of build their network outside of school as well. So we're really looking forward to that. And we also have a few other things up our sleeves. So as you would know, we do workshops as well. So this is where you can kind of choose your own adventure. And so we have concurrent sessions running. You can learn about everything from managing farm risk to getting a handle on your farm financial analysis and decision-making using a really cool new tool that comes out of Quebec with our partners at Alley-Oop, and sessions on building your inner leader, et cetera. So it's kind of nice. You can kind of, get the knowledge from our keynotes and experts on the plenary side, panel discussions, but then, you might not be interested in one thing, interested in another. So you can really kind of choose your learning experience through the conference. And then as always, we'll be hosting our National Farm Business Management Resource Showcase. This is one of my favorite things ever because it's kind of like speed dating, but with the learning side of it. And so we have companies, organizations that are offering programming and tools and resources for producers to kind of upgrade their business skills and practices. And they'll talk about what's available across Canada. And we kind of do that in a speed dating arena where it's 15 minutes, you learn everything there is to know about the C-Team program, or a financial analysis program, or maybe some government programs available and things like that. So yeah, we try and look at AgEx as an opportunity to try out different learning platforms and interactive ways of getting the knowledge out and getting the knowledge exchanged between our participants. So yeah, we're looking forward to pretty cool lineup. There's still some blanks to fill in, but that's always good because things are ever changing and you never know what's around the corner. So we've got some room to ebb and flow as we prepare for November.
Nice. That sounds like a great event. One other thing I wanted to mention, and I think you're doing it this year. I think it's an annual thing that you do, the farm tour. Do you start
Yeah.
each year off with a farm tour?
We
Farmer
do.
here, farmer here. I love farm tours.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought, how am I going to work this in when we're talking about, the speaker sessions? But no, I'm really, really glad you asked. So, yeah, it's a 3-day event. The first day, we always start with a farm tour. And so we'll be visiting local farms and businesses around the Guelph area and kind of up to Laura. We'll be looking at beef and dairy and horticulture, and we might be stopping by a distillery or brewery to be confirmed, but really learning about how are these businesses preparing for the future of farming, taking their business next level? What challenges are they facing or have faced? How do they overcome them? Because I mean, we know in our space that, and as a farmer, you would know, you're probably much more likely to listen to another farmer that's, tried it and it worked, or tried it and it didn't work, but they learned some lessons. So the value of listening to your peers in making decisions and becoming informed about what's available, and how are you guys handling this, and how am I going to handle it? It kind of makes it all a bit more real. And so that to kind of complement sitting in a conference space and interacting with the speakers should be good. And then after this, so the farm tour is the whole day on the 21st, which is the first day of the conference. And then in the evening, we'll gather for, just a casual reception, pretty informal, so folks can meet and greet and have some nibbles, and we'll have some welcoming remarks there as well. So it's kind of a gentle entry into 2 days of intense learning and discussion.
Wow, sounds fantastic, Heather. Wow. I had to add the farm tour part because as a farmer myself, and I'm sure I'm not the only weirdo, when I go on holidays, I love to see agriculture in different provinces, states, or different countries. It's just the coolest thing. So that's really neat to add that in. And then all that amazing information that they're going to get sounds like the place to be.
Yeah, I tell you. Well, and the thing that we try to do is, really bring together, like it's not just a conference for farmers or just a conference for, bureaucrats or something. Like it's really, we understand ultimately we're trying to support farmers at the farm level, at the grassroots, but there's lots of players in that space. And so if we can all gather together and share our insights and share our experiences, and so, farmers go away with practical takeaways, for their farm straight away. But also you've got, organizations going away to think about, well, how can we use this information to improve our programming? Or, academics or teachers and things like that, trying to, take the knowledge away so that we're all kind of, raising the standard and raising the bar in terms of how we're supporting the producers across Canada.
Excellent. You just beat me to the punch. I
Oh,
was going to ask you.
sorry.
No, that's okay. You're so good. I was going to ask you, what do you hope and attendees take away? And I think you covered that great. So I want to give you a spot for any final call to action words, and then how people can register if they are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the call to action would be, well, I guess so the easy thing to say is if you go to agexcellenceconference.ca, you can follow the prompts to register. You'll also be able to access the agenda, see the speakers, see the sessions, see the sponsors and supporters. And then speaking of sponsors and supporters, many have been given discount codes to share with their clients and members. So if you look through our sponsor list and our supporting partner list, you'll see, if you see, oh, I think I work with those guys, or I think I know someone there, you might be able to score yourself a sweet discount. And then the other thing that some producers can do is check with their provincial Ministry of Agriculture, because there is funding available from some of the provinces and territories for producers to attend attend the conference. So even if you're not in Ontario, producers in New Brunswick, for example, can get funding to attend an out of province conference. So there's still time to do that, and we can help if you like. So if anyone wants to look into that, they can just send a quick email to our info@fmc-gac.com. And we can help there too. And we also have group discounts too. So if you're planning on, 5 or more folks are coming from, the same farm or from different farms or from an organization or a company, we certainly encourage that, because the more folks that are at the meeting together, learning together, living together, and then it's more likely they're gonna, go home and perhaps continue that conversation and continue the momentum. So we do encourage, everyone to bring a friend, bring a family member, bring a colleague, and kind of share in the opportunity to be educated and then go home and educate the others.
Wonderful. We will also put links to everything Heather just said in the show notes. So if you are listening, watching, go to farmmarketer.com, go to Impact Farming, find this episode at the bottom. You'll find all your links there. So Heather, amazing. It sounds like you have such a great event going on. I'm excited for you, and thank you for the work you do. I know it's not easy to put those events on. I've been there. I've seen all the work that you and your team puts into it. So thank you. And thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to kind of give a little bit of a megaphone to this event. And we know how supportive you are of farm business management and the opportunities you provide us. So we're forever grateful for everything that you're doing, Tracy, to spread the word and get the message out there, and not just about our events, but about farm business management in general. And yeah, really spreading the good word, as it were. So yeah, I really, really appreciate Tracy, and appreciate our audience as well, for tuning in. And yeah, just get in touch if you have any questions or comments, and want to work together.
Wonderful. As the kids say, it's my jam and it's my pleasure.
Love it.
Yeah, thanks again. Okay, and you in the audience, thank you for tuning in. If you think this is something you're interested in, go in the show notes, click the link, find out more. Everything you need to know will be on the website that we'll provide in the show notes. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thanks.